The hall was drenched in brass and ceremony. The band played its rehearsed notes. Banners lined the walls. Cameras devoured every second. And then my uncle, general, mentor, family, called the names. He skipped mine. Deliberate. Calculated. His hand pinned the ribbon onto an influencer who joined the regiment barely a month ago, the flashbulbs lighting up his smirk as he whispered, "Public relations." The applause stung sharper than silence. I felt my blood still, then slow, then harden into something colder. Moments later, the commander handed me a sealed envelope. The weight of it was heavier than paper. Inside, my orders. Task Force Lead, a rank above his. When I lifted my eyes, the music had faltered. The cameras pivoted. His mouth barely moved, but the words slid through clenched teeth. "You can't be serious." The band stopped playing. Every lens turned to me, and the air between us split open. My uncle raised me like a soldier before I was even a boy. His word was law, his approval my survival. Yet as I stood there with the envelope in my hand, I saw it. His betrayal wasn't sudden. It had been seeded long before. The missing credit on reports I'd authored. The way he diverted praise toward protégés who carried his smile, not his blood. The subtle exclusions cloaked as oversight. Family dinners where his voice filled the room and mine was cut short. Ceremonies where my name was absent from the roll. It had been building, quietly, systematically, and now public humiliation. He'd denied me in front of the entire regiment, replaced my work with a prop. The influencers cheered, the cameras lingered. My daughter's face flickered in my memory, asking why her uncle never clapped for me. I understood in that moment. This wasn't oversight. This was erasure. And erasure is the cruelest betrayal. I played the loyal nephew, the silent soldier, outwardly composed, inwardly calculating. I began tracing his steps, files he buried, promotions he redirected, meetings where he spoke on my behalf and twisted outcomes. The deeper I searched, the more deliberate it became. He hadn't simply overlooked me. He had built his own ladder with my rungs. My victories were his handholds, my failures manufactured by him. I found whispers in corridors, officers he'd promised favors to if they forgot my name, strategically placed shadows where my work disappeared into his, and the influencer, his latest pawn, a public mask to conceal his rot. I said nothing. I smiled at dinners. I let him believe his power untouched. But beneath the stillness, I sharpened the silence into a blade. The evidence arrived piece by piece until it formed a perfect picture. Signed documents with my handwriting erased, replaced by his. Orders rerouted, recommendations lost, reports manipulated to diminish me while inflating him. The betrayal was surgical. Years of it, and yet he had left a trail. Pride always does. When I finally laid the documents in front of the commander, I said nothing. Words weren't needed. The commander's face darkened as he scanned the signatures, the timelines, the contradictions. His silence was louder than reprimand. Later, at a private gathering, I slid one of the forged documents across the table toward my uncle. No words, just the truth laid bare. He paled. His lips trembled. He tried for denial, then excuses, but the papers anchored his lies like chains. I remained still, composed, watching him fracture. At the next ceremony, the roles reversed. This time, the commander spoke my name first. My title echoed across the hall. Cameras flashed, catching the glint of new rank on my shoulder. My uncle stood in the line of officers, his ribbon already dull, his smile absent. I turned toward him deliberately, locking eyes as the applause filled the room. His jaw tightened. The silence between us thundered. When the cameras shifted, I stepped close enough for only him to hear. "You taught me obedience," I whispered, "but you never taught me how to lose." His face betrayed everything: rage, humiliation, disbelief. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. I simply turned away, letting him drown in the applause that no longer belonged to him. Power does not scream. It does not weep. It simply shifts. That night I sat alone, the new insignia heavy on my chest. I felt no joy, no triumph, only clarity. He had built his empire on my silence, and I had dismantled it with the same weapon. Betrayal had been his lesson, vindication mine. I no longer sought his approval. I no longer carried his shadow. I had severed the bond, clean and permanent. Family by blood, enemy by choice. And as I stared into the mirror, I realized something final, something cold. I did not need him to fall. I only needed him to watch me rise. Final line: he erased my name for years, so I carved it into his ruin.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.